The text message was simple. "I'm sorry, Liam. I can't do this anymore." As I read it in the Uber on the way to the airport, my world didn't shatter. It just went gray. I was flying from London to New York to close the biggest deal of my career, and my girlfriend of 5 years had just ended our relationship in a 12-word text. The driver, an older man named Arthur, glanced in the rearview mirror. His eyes held a quiet understanding that made me want to confess everything I slumped in the back seat, the glow of my phone highlighting my failure. "Rough night, son?" Arthur's voice was calm, with a gentle London accent that felt like a warm blanket. "What gave it away?" I muttered, not meaning to sound so bitter. He just smiled. "I've been driving this cab for 30 years. I know the look of a man who thinks his story is over when it's really just taken a different turn." I scoffed internally. But then he didn't turn left for the airport. He went straight. The airport is that way," I said, panic cutting through my self-pity. "I know," he said. "But you don't need to run from it. You need to face it, and I'm going to show you something first." Against my better judgment, I stayed in the cab. He drove me through the sleeping city, not as a driver, but as a storyteller. "This corner," he pointed, "is where I let my pride get the better of me and walked away from my first band. They got signed 6 months later." He drove on. "That cafe? I was supposed to meet a woman there for a first date. I got cold feet and never showed up. I still wonder about her." He wasn't just showing me London. He was showing me his life, a map of regrets and missed chances etched into the very streets. "And this bridge," he said, slowing to a stop. "This is where I sat in my cab, much like you are now. After my wife Eleanor told me she was leaving, I thought my life was finished." "What did you do?" I asked, my own problems feeling smaller. "I made a choice," Arthur said, his hands resting on the wheel. "I could let that pain be the end of my story, or I could make it the start of a new one. I chose to fight. I drove to her house, not with grand gestures, but with a simple, honest apology. It was the hardest drive of my life." He looked at me, his gaze intense in the mirror. "She didn't take me back that day. It took a year of proving I could change, but every single day of that fight was worth it. We had 43 years together before she passed." The silence in the cab was heavy. I looked at the time. My flight was boarding. "Right," Arthur said, pulling away from the bridge. "Now let's get you to the airport. You have a choice to make." As we sped towards Heathrow, my mind was racing. The multi-million-dollar deal, the New York skyline, the corner office, it all felt hollow. It was just another way to run. "Stop the car," I said, my voice firmer than it had been all night. Arthur pulled over. I got out, not at the terminal, but at the departures drop-off. I opened his front passenger door. "I'm not getting on that flight," I said, "but I need one more ride, and I'll pay double the fare." He drove me across the city again, this time to Sarah's flat. The lights were on. "I'll wait," Arthur said, "just in case." I walked up, my heart pounding. I didn't have a speech. When she opened the door, her face was streaked with tears. "I'm not going to New York," I blurted out. "I'm here, and I'm not asking for you to take me back. I'm asking for a chance to talk, to fight for us." She didn't slam the door. She let me in. An hour later, I walked back to the cab. Arthur was reading a book under the street lamp. He looked up as I approached. I got in the front seat. "She says we have a lot to talk about," I said, a real smile touching my lips for the first time that night. "It's a start." Arthur nodded. a satisfied look on his face. A start is all you need. As he drove me home, I realized Arthur hadn't just given me a ride. He had given me a perspective I desperately needed. He was right. My story wasn't over. It was just taking a different turn. And sometimes, the most important journey isn't the one that takes you across the world, but the one that brings you back to where you truly belong.